Hello, Roncalli. It's Monique. Glad to see you again. We are here at Milberger Farms in the county, and I am here with Shane Milberger himself. So I'm going to flip the camera around, and we are going to interview this farmer. Here's a quick pan. You can see all of these new plants starting off in the greenhouse. In several weeks, these will be vegetables on your table. Flip the camera around and introduce you to Shane. Hello, Shane.
Hello.
All right, please give us an introduction to yourself and your farm.
I am Shane Milberger. I own and operate Milberger Farms out on the Mesa. I've been doing this for 35 years. I started while I was in high school.
What are some of the things that you grow here?
Well, we grow a lot of different vegetables. We start out with asparagus and radish and spinach, parsley, cilantro, squash, a lot of the stuff that you see at the farmers markets we grow. And of course we end up with Pueblo chili towards the end of the year and pumpkins.
And what is your favorite thing to grow?
Chili.
What's your favorite thing to eat?
Chili.
Spoken like a true Pueblo farmer. Now, you said you've been farming for 35 years.
Yes, we have.
What are some of the positives and challenges of being a farm owner?
Every day is a challenge, and every day is a reward. The challenges are capital, having the money to farm, the equipment, the land, the overheads, the labor. We can go on and on and on with the challenges. The positives, it's very rewarding. I like the dirt. I like outside. I am my own boss. Being your own boss is great, but when something goes wrong, you can only blame yourself.
Very true. Very true. Why are local farms important to the community and to our food system?
Well, important to the community because the local farms and local businesses are part of the economic circle to keep your community going. I grow something and I sell it to you. I had to buy the seed from somebody local. I bought fuel local. I bought all my stuff I needed as much as I can local. So it creates a very large circle, and everybody in the community gets a part of the dollar I spend. The dollar you spend with me at my store buying my products, everybody gets a part of that dollar that's local if we buy and keep it local. When you buy out of state, out of country, the dollar doesn't stay here. It does not benefit any of us at all. It is very, very important to stay local and buy local as much as you can. Even if it costs you a little bit more, the benefits are so much more rewarding because it helps the entire community. Very important in my opinion.
And why is it important to have our own food system here in Pueblo County? Why are farms like yours so important to feeding our community?
Well, again, it is very important to know where your food comes from. Farm to fork, farm to table, however you want to think of it. You can come out and you can see my fields. You can see how we take care of it. You could see what you're going to eat. When it comes from another country, you don't know what happens to that product. That's not a good thing. You don't know how it's raised. You don't know where it comes from. Again, when you buy local food, you know where it comes from. And again, you complete that circle of your community.
And tell us what we see here in the greenhouse. What's going on here?
Well, our greenhouse, we just planted these tomatoes today. So the young lady in the background is watering them. We'll get these things going, and in about 60 days, we're going to have fresh tomatoes.
How many seedlings did you plant today?
There's about 5,000 plants in this greenhouse.
Wow. And how many tomatoes will you grow off of these 5,000 plants?
Each plant should produce about 20 pounds of fruit.
Wow. So we're talking 100,000 pounds of tomato.
If we're lucky.
If we're lucky.
It's farming. farming is a lot of it is a luck of the draw. A lot of it is hard work. A farmer once told me, and this guy, he's an old farmer, and I listen to him, and he tells me, he says, there's no such thing as luck. Hard work will help you bring luck. You just can't sit around and get luck.
All right. And with that, we're going to take a pause and we will be back. We're going to take some questions out in the field. We'll be right back. Okay, we are back. We are now in the field with farmer Shane Milberger. And tell us what this giant piece of equipment is behind you.
This is a disc. And what we use this for is chopping up all of the old plants. Once we're done harvesting, we'll take this in there and we'll disc it up, chop it up real nice and small. 2 or 3 times we may use this across the field. It chops those plants up, and then those plants, they could rot down in the ground and do what Mother Nature intends it to a little bit faster. We're speeding the process up a little bit. Once we're all done with this, chopping that stuff up, getting it all ready, then this piece of equipment over here, this plow, this actually takes the ground and it turns it upside down. Okay, takes all that good foreign matter and organic matter that we're putting in the ground and it puts it upside down. Then we let it dry out, and then that's when we start leveling it out, getting it ready, and start pulling our furrows, and then we start planting.
Okay, and we see back here, looks like you have a field that's almost ready to go.
Yes, that field has been plowed. Next step is to roll it. We call it rolling, break up the dirt clods, pack the ground a little bit. The big green machine back here, you see, that's our land plane. So once we're done breaking the clods and getting that packed, then we level the ground. That's what that does. Once we level it, then we take a furrowing bar. The furrowing bar pulls the furrows in the rows in the field so we can put the water. Then once we do that, then we plant. And then we start irrigating.
So it's much more technical than just throwing some seeds in the dirt, huh?
Quite a bit more technical. So between last year's crop, when it's ready to disc under with this big disc, and this year's crop right behind you that is coming out of the ground today, we cross the field maybe 12 to 15 times before this seed will come out of the ground.
And how do you decide what to plant where?
Well, that's all part of our planning of our farm. We want to rotate and keep everything rotated. We don't like to put the same thing in the same field every year because it creates disease, creates resistance. We don't want that. Mother Nature, we like to work with Mother Nature. So we use a lot of manure and we rotate our crops, and we try to use a crop that may take more nitrogen or maybe put more nitrogen in the ground. For next year, we got a crop in there that may take the nitrogen that this crop put in there. So it's all a big plan. We plan, it is only March of 2021. Believe it or not, I'm planning what I'm going to plant in these fields behind me for 2022. It's on my mind of what we're doing. And the crop's just barely coming out of the ground. We're already planning for 2022. So we're always thinking, always planning.
How many acres does your farm manage?
We do 400 acres.
And if you had to guess a weight on how much food you will produce, Mother Nature permitting, this season, what would you guess?
I've never thought about that.
A lot.
A lot.
Okay. And
so during season, we generally go, we generally deliver about 5 semi-loads a week.
Wow.
So each semi-load weighing about 50,000 pounds. So that's 150,000 pounds a week easily. And that's just what we put on our semi. That's not what people come and pick up.
Wow.
If I had to guess, we probably do somewhere around 8 million pounds of produce.
Wow. Wow. That is a lot of food. That is literally feeding a whole community.
We can feed the whole community, yes.
Now tell me, for those who are interested perhaps in a career in farming, what does your day look like from, the time you wake up to the time you hang your hat? What does that look like for a farmer here in Pueblo County?
Well, we're going to start off about 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I wake up because I'm thinking what I should be doing. Okay. Then I fall back asleep, and then I am out of the bed around 3:30. And then I go to work at 3:30 in the morning, going out, checking all the fields, making sure what I got to do for the day. About 6 o'clock, my guys, the people who work for me, start showing up. So then I got to coordinate them. I got to go check the water. Got to make sure the irrigator's doing what he's supposed to be doing. Maybe I changed my mind about where we're putting the water. Now this is all by about 7:30. Then I got to go check on my tractor guys, make sure we're doing what we're supposed to do. And then we got our people in the shed who's packing all this produce that my guys are picking. So I do that till about noon. And then about noon, I go back and check all the fields again. And then about 3 o'clock, we start loading the trucks that we have orders for. And in between all of that, I'm taking orders for what people want. Okay. So that's about 3 o'clock. We load the trucks and we're done about 5. The people in the shed go home. The people in the field go home. I go back out to the field, check my plants, got to see what's wrong with them. Do they need fertilizer, or do they have an insect problem? What are we going to plant tomorrow? What are we going to cultivate? So about 8 o'clock, I'm done checking all the waters, checking up on everybody that works for me. Then I go home, have a little sandwich or something, take a nap, and I start all over tomorrow about 3 o'clock. Wow. And all summer long, I do that 7 days a week.
Wow. When do you rest?
Between 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning. That's 6 hours. That's enough sleep for anybody.
There you go. Farming is a 7-day, 365 job.
That is correct. In the wintertime, we don't relax. We work on equipment. We prepare the fields. We haul manure. We spread manure. There's not very often that we just sit around for one full day.
And why is it so important for the young people to eat fresh fruits and vegetables? You do all this work for what?
We do all this work to sell our product, to our local community. Why is it so important? The fresher the product is, the better it tastes, the better it is for you. When you buy stuff that is shipped in from overseas or across the borders, it is picked before it is mature. If it is picked before it's mature, that means it doesn't have all the goodies in it for you. If you can pick a tomato when it's red ripe, it tastes a lot better than the red tomato at the store, because that tomato was picked green. It didn't finish its life. Chili peppers, watermelons, cantaloupe, anything you eat is all the same. When you pick it, when it's ready, it is 100 times better for you.
Any last words or pieces of advice for our student farmers over at Roncalli?
Do not be scared of work. No matter what you're doing, farming takes a lot of work, but don't let that stop you.
All right. Thank you so much.